Good Thursday evening. Welcome to Blue Collar Fishing Live. I'm Kelly, Blue Collar Fishing, and tonight's special guest is John Dalton, better known as Creek Fishing Adventures on YouTube. Hey, John, thanks for coming on tonight. Appreciate it.
Well, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. John, why don't you tell my audience a little bit about yourself? I know probably people know more about you than they do about me, but you go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself and what you
Yeah,
do.
I basically am one of those fishing YouTubers, and I've been full time at for 3 years. I did heating and air for like 13 years. Started doing making fishing videos just for fun, kind of just for curiosity. When I moved over here to East Tennessee, I kind of needed a new hobby from spending all my money on trucks, so I started doing more fishing. And I decided, hey, I'll just make some videos. How hard can it be? And never think it'd go anywhere. And it took about 2 years. Not really much happened. Then all of a sudden, about 2.5 years in, it started growing. And about 3.5 years in, I quit my job. Now I've been doing it for over 6 years.
So it took you 2.5 years in to be able to go full time.
Um, I think over 3 years. It was 2.5 years in when I really started making a little bit. Well, when I actually saw some revenue that was significant, more than like $100 or something like that. It just kind of grew slowly. Took a year to get like 200 subscribers, and then at the end of 2 years, I had 1,000. And then, but at the end of 3 years, I was at like I was over 10,000. That's when I really started jumping.
Hmm. Did you have a eureka moment or eureka video that took you from here to here quicker than the others?
Yeah. There was a video, I can't remember. I think it was in the fall that I did, where I had this catfish, and it broke the line like right at the bank, and it was just one of those things that happened. But it kind of turned out good on video, and I remember it got like 5,000 views. I was like, oh my goodness! And then it got like 10,000, then like 20, then like 25,000. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I hadn't even had that many views in the whole channel, and then like and then all my videos started to get a little bit of views. And then for the next like 3 months, like some old videos were getting, like a bunch of different videos were getting views, that were even like 6 months to a year old. And it just kind of kept growing. And after a couple months into that, I was like, this could turn into something. And it took about 6 months from when I started like making some money to telling my job I was quitting. So it didn't take long to change, but I just saw the potential of like, if I could keep making more videos, I could keep growing it. It kind of slowed down some, but that little spurt really just changed my life.
Right. And what are you doing now? You're making videos full time. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I try to put out 3 videos a week. I just got back from Michigan a couple weeks ago. I'm making enough to be able to travel a little bit and to spend money on fishing gear and do different things. And I'm hoping that all this effort I'm putting into it really pays off, but as long as I can you just do this without having to go back to work another job, I'm having fun with it. And hopefully it just keeps on going. But I've gotten to fish with all kinds of people and all over the country, and hopefully get to go more places and catch more fish. I go creek fishing a lot, but I like kayaking. I'll fish the ocean a little bit, just anywhere I can go and catch some fish and have fun with it.
What kind of ocean fishing are you doing?
I've only done off the beach a couple times, and I've done brackish water. I like brackish water stuff because you never know what you're going to catch in there. That's been pretty interesting. I've had places where I'm catching like little striper, largemouth bass, pickerel, and like a couple other saltwater fish. They got all be mixed in together, all off a little swim bait and stuff like that. I fished off the beach in like Pensacola, and there's some people invited me to go out in their boats. I haven't been able to do that yet.
Today I was watching one of your videos where you were river fishing, a bunch of boulders, and you got a little bit more brass than I do. I don't know about taking a heavy fishing kayak in rapids, man.
They're not really built for that.
Yeah, it seems questionable.
I've done a couple of trips where I wish I could get out of it, but once you get into it, you gotta kind of finish. But
Right.
it's been pretty fun. I like, gotta push. I like pushing it a little bit. And I've only flipped my kayak one time, and that was the first time I ever went kayaking. So since then, I've been all right.
My kayak is a heavy fishing kayak because I'm not really built for the others. I need something that will support me. I'm a little bit bigger of a guy.
What kind do you have?
I have a lightning strike.
I don't know what that is.
It's a pedal drive kayak. It's one of the ones that took Hobie's first Mirage drive technology when the patent wore out. Like Pelican has the Catch 130 or whatever. Around that same time, a company called Lightning came out. It's part owned and endorsed by Robert Field, the YouTuber, does field trips. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
Sounds familiar. Yeah. I was looking at a Hobie today on the marketplace. I got a couple Old Towns, but I got like 3 kayak tournaments coming up in the next month, and the big Hobie PAs are pretty comfortable.
They are.
I may have to get one if I can swing it somehow.
Well, you go fishing with Alex Rudd quite a bit, right?
I fished in the same league tournament he does, and I fished with him a couple times. Yeah,
that's what he uses.
Yeah,
a Hobie Pro angler.
Yeah, I talked to him.
What he uses now. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the Old Town, then I saw him upgrade, and he's like, "Yeah, it's worth it getting a bigger one. Just way more comfortable being out there."
Right. I mean, I would love a Hobie too. I'm not in a position right now to justify $5,000 on a floating piece of plastic. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it if you are, but
yeah,
I'm not there yet. I don't have 50,000 subscribers like you guys. YouTube isn't sending me a check.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Did you pick up any sponsors or anything along the way in your YouTube fishing journey?
Yeah, earlier on, I worked with a couple of smaller companies that I was making, a few $100s. It wasn't really much, but I'd get some free stuff. But I'm working with Pradco company that own like Booyah, Yum, Bobby Garland, Rebel, and I actually have a contract with them where I get paid and I get free lures. So that's the only contract or deal I got. I'd love to get like a rod and reel company to work with, or maybe some clothing companies, but nothing's worked out right now. So we'll keep on going and see what happens.
We have Pond Predator Nation in the chat, Jeff.
Oh,
Hey, how's it going tonight?
Yeah, I've been working with Nico for a while. Yeah, yeah. Nico Heldermites is one of the first lures that I ever got for free. So the Nico brand, they gave me stuff when I was real early. Just gave me, and then it just happened to be something I really started enjoying using, and they're incredible material there.
I wish I'd have had that experience. Most of the lures I've gotten for free that people have sent me.
I know. Yeah.
Like they want you to talk about the brand, and I'm like, I really can't. These are trash. I'm never going to throw them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to convince people to go buy them.
Yeah, you got to have something. Definitely got to have something you believe in. And like Nico makes a lot of stuff, and I've used several. But it's that Heldermite, it's one of those things like I just love the way it works. And I've made so many videos on it, and I'd recommend it to anybody, and it's some things that just happen that way. And now I get to work with Yum, and I started using the Yum Dinger a lot, and it's so easy to use. It's like I don't feel bad telling somebody, hey, go try this, because it's just a good product. So that's good. That's definitely something I look for. I've gotten lots of chances to work with other different companies, but I don't know. I don't want to work with anybody you have to be fully on board with, for sure.
Yeah. Hey Grant, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you coming in tonight. Anybody in the chat has any questions for John? We'll see if we get them answered, as long as they're appropriate. I mean, if you want to learn, here's a guy you can learn from. He kind of caught lightning in a bottle. So you did grow at a faster rate than a lot of people. do you contribute to that with putting out so many videos a week, or do you think you just figured out the algorithm once and it kept promoting your videos? Or
I think being able to consistently do 3 videos a week for pretty much my whole time I've been doing YouTube has definitely helped. And and a lot of my videos, I'm doing things that not most people aren't doing, as far as like smaller creek things. And I think there's a niche that people really enjoy watching that. Whereas I could go out and catch a 6-pound largemouth, and most of my views don't care. Like, no big deal. But if I'll go and catch a bunch of little bluegill or green sunfish or something, and I enjoy doing that. And a lot of times those get more views. But I think when I started, I chose my name and like what I wanted to be. It definitely helped me because there was not anybody else really doing that. So it definitely took a while. And obviously my editing was horrible. It's not like it's something awesome now or anything, but it just takes a long time to learn how to edit and try to grow with that and make better. And then after a couple of years, I had my first jump when I went from like 4,000 to 12,000 subscribers in like a month, and then to like 20,000 subscribers in like 2 months later. And then next thing I know, I was at like 40,000 subscribers. And ever since then, it's been a consistent 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers a month growth. So I haven't had any more like super jumps, but that early jump just really, I don't know what happened. There was like a bunch of things. I think it was the time of the year. It was spring. A lot of different things factored in. I had a bunch of videos out there people just found out about, and like kind of all compounded. Some reason I feel like YouTube was pushing some of the videos. I think they were getting traction, and they were like, "Hey, we'll show more. This is something different." Some of them were just little simple creek fishing videos that got 300,000-400,000 views in like a couple months. Now, a lot of those views weren't very long, but I got a lot of subscribers off of those. So.
All right. Buff Bass Outdoors, welcome. Appreciate you coming in. He's a young fishing creator. And his question is did sponsors reach out to you, or did you inquire with them?
Everybody I'm working with reached out to me. I have reached out to a couple people, and I haven't heard anything back from that. Because there's a couple kayak companies and a couple other companies that I would love to do something with, but everybody just has to see the value in you. I'm not sure how to approach other companies. I know everybody wants to. And a lot of the stuff I've gotten has been since I've been over 50,000 subscribers. That's when like you really start getting some notification, I think. But the Nico, they reached out to me early. I think they gave me stuff before I even had 1,000, because they saw that I did creek stuff and like fished a little bit different than the regular bass fishing guy. I live here near Lake Chickamauga, and there's I'm sure there's 100 YouTubers that live within 20 miles of me that make videos bass fishing.
I know several of them.
Yeah, I mean they're all over, and some of them are friends and stuff. But that's where I wanted to be different. And if you're making videos on bass fishing, especially out of a boat or something, you have to make yourself. What are you going to do different that everybody else ain't doing? Tactical Bass and just moved in. They're down here. They're making videos out there in Chickamauga, and they're well known. Like, what are you going to do that's different? So I think, I don't know. Sometimes it's just your personality, how things come across, how excited you get. There's definitely a lot of different little things, and then you can try your best and not go nowhere. And then I don't know. I know the Lord blessed my channel and had a reason for me to do this. I can't really. I get asked all the time what should I do or how to help people, and I'm like, I don't know. If you you just have to have it. You have to keep improving. You have to keep working, and just have to click with viewers.
All right, Stanley Orchard, appreciate you coming in tonight. Me and Stanley go back a while. He has a question. He says, "Let's get juicy. What's the biggest deal you ever turned down, and why?"
I guess I did turn down the deal. I had one. It was reaching out. It was the Waterland. I didn't know at the time. I kind of wasn't sure what it was when they were first starting, and the guy that reached out to me, I wasn't a fan of, and so he was like, "Hey, we got this thing going on, blah blah blah," and I just wasn't interested in. It would have been. I mean, it probably would have been good because I know several people that are with them, and they got sunglasses and other stuff. But I just wasn't a fan of the person that I'd talked to, and just kind of didn't want to do anything with it. So, not that you got to like everybody you work with. I mean, that's obviously not the case. You're going to disagree or have problems with almost everybody you know, but you just got to do whatever you think's the best decision for you.
Good answer. That's like a goal to get big enough to be, buzz off big.
Yeah. Well, I get offers from China all the time. Those come in nonstop. And I've got a couple of them I've taken, like electric bikes. They sent me. I got 2 electric bikes that I got sent for free just to do a video on, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." I got to sell them now that I get my money out of them, but that was kind of cool. But those were straightforward, like no strings attached. There's a lot of other things that they say, "Hey, we want to work with you," blah blah blah, and you don't have any more details. I'm like, I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know what they really want. It could be turning something, or it could be just a waste of time. So, but a lot of Chinese companies out there.
I've seen some of those companies, and they're like, "Oh, we'll send you all this free stuff." They want like your credit card information, and then they send you junk you don't use or whatever. I've seen some people who got done with that. We got a lot of what's up to people questions. Buff Bass. Okay. Buff Bass says it is my 3rd month on YouTube, and I went from 0 to 963 subscribers. Lightning in a bottle in 3 months. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd say that's kind of lightning. Yeah, that's good. It took. John just admitted it took him 2 years to reach 1,000 subscribers?
Yeah, I hit 1,000 on my a month before my 2-year mark. But that was 6-7 years ago. That was 7 or so it's a little bit different. I think there's a lot more people on YouTube now. You can grow, I feel like, a little faster to get that early mark, but it's hard to take it to the next level now. I feel like there's so many people, 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, and it's hard to keep that climb.
Right.
Because it takes so much work. You definitely have to be in it to just you want to do it. You just got to do it because you want to do it.
Right. Exactly. If you enjoy making videos, keep making them.
Yeah.
That's really the only reason I'm still going. Because I look at my analytics and be like, well, why am I doing this? But I like to fish. And I've made some friends doing this. So
yeah. I never started to. I thought if I could make a couple $100 a month, it'd be a blast, and that'd be like all I could ever achieve. Never had any high success. And then I didn't know. Like I said, it took me a year to get over 100, almost a year to get 100 subscribers. And I didn't know any better. I'm like,
that 100 was a grind, man.
Yeah, I knew. And the other people would start channel have 200-300 really quick. I'm like, how'd they do that? But you never know who's gonna make it long term, because it's hard to keep it up. It's hard to people will start for a year or two, and then the excitement drains away, and all your creative, juices just kind of get sucked out of you, and you just get bored down with it. You have to just keep. If you can't keep that going, then it might not be for you. That's something I didn't know, but it just happened, and I'm like, wow, I really enjoy this, and it's something I didn't realize I was going to like, making videos and being excited, having fun with it.
Yep. Stanley has a question. His question is, John, if you had to start over today, what is the first thing you'd focus on?
For sure, it's what I started. It would be, what do I want to make videos on? That's the first thing you have to have a decision about. It doesn't matter your gear or your setup or anything. It's what is going to be your little niche. And that's why I started creek fishing, and that was going to be my little niche, and try to really make videos and be the guy that makes videos on creek fishing and shows what different species are in there. If I could have gotten better quality earlier on, I think that would have helped, but that's something you don't know until you do it. You can't know something until you experienced it. And I didn't really realize how bad a quality some of my videos were because I didn't know how to do any better. But yeah, that's the thing. If you start, you have to have an idea. What is your idea that you're going to be different than everybody else? And if I had to do it over again, I would do the same thing I'm doing now. Like, this is my little niche. I'm going to make as many videos on this thing as I can, because I don't see anybody else out there doing it. Or I'm going to try to do it better than they're doing it. Like, if somebody else is doing it, I'm going to do mine better, or just a little bit different than they're doing theirs.
Great. No questions at the moment. Okay, Fishing, thanks for joining us. Hi, how are you tonight? Appreciate everybody coming in the chat. Appreciate everybody watching the stream. My question that I've asked every guest I've had on has been, how did you start fishing, and why do you fish now?
Yeah. Okay. So I started fishing, and everything all ties back to me when I was in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where I was born. We moved to Campbellsville, and my dad was the pastor of a church. So I lived there from 6 to 10. We lived in a house right beside the church, the little parsonage. There was a creek in the backyard. There was a basketball goal in the parking lot. Kentucky, everybody plays basketball. So, so I played basketball, went to church, and went and fished and explored in that creek. And that's all I did for 4 years when I lived there. And I really got fascinated with all the little different things that are in the creek. So I would go down that creek and just catch different fish. And I knew they were different, but I didn't know, like, why is this different than this different? And a bunch of people from the church, of course, around the area, everybody bass fished a lot or crappie fished or something. And I never had a boat. My dad would take me fishing every once in a while to a lake with worms. That's all I really knew. Might go to a pond or two. And then through high school, I played sports. So I was huge into basketball. I fished every once in a while, but didn't really have a lot of time. And when I moved to East Tennessee, I moved over here when I was 26, or 27, 9 years ago. I was like, I needed a new hobby. So I'd always loved fishing, just didn't have people I fished with. And then I was always busy, playing sports or something. And I was working on trucks. I sold all my trucks, kind of didn't really have any guys to play basketball with. So I was like, I need something to do. So right in front of the apartment that I lived in, there was a little creek. And I'd go over there in the evenings after work, fish for an hour, go to my buddy at work, I had a couple friends that were big country guys, and they're, and of course in East Tennessee, we got all kinds of different types of streams, mountain streams and different streams. And they took me to a couple places, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then I started watching YouTube videos the more I got into fishing, and I didn't see videos like that I wanted to find. I wanted to find fishing videos where people just went and fished for little tiny streams in town, in the rivers, kayaking rivers. And I didn't see a lot of that. So the more I got into it, the more I decided I want to make videos on it. The more videos I made, the more I wanted to go make, just to show everything that there is. So if YouTube went away, if I stopped making YouTube videos, I probably wouldn't fish as much, but I would definitely be out there exploring. It's so hard not to go explore and just to go enjoy kayaking trips and just go find random places to fish. So I kind of got back into fishing, and it all started when I was just young. I just wanted to see what's in streams and just get curious about everything that's in there. Now it's come full circle, and that's all I do.
Awesome. My grandparents is why I started fishing.
Okay.
I grew up in the same area, actually. Just you grew up in Bowling Green, which is above Tennessee by about 20 minutes, and I grew up in a town nobody's ever heard of in Tennessee called community called Clark Range, which is below Kentucky by about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we actually used to play you all in basketball. We were such a small school that we had to go to Kentucky to play high school basketball.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, Bowling Green, Kentucky and Somerset, Kentucky were in the same high school district. But my grandparents used to do this car camping every summer. My granddad had this old Ford truck, and it had one of those and he had bought this old cab over camper for it. So like it went above the cab, and he had a bed of the cab of the camper. We'd haul in that, and we'd hit Del Hollow, Watts Bar, Cordell Hall, Melton Hill. We'd head up into Kentucky and hit Berkeley, Cumberland, and those areas. All right, some more questions. But so yeah, I mean, we grew up similar. Just I'm older than you. Why am I older than everybody? Says me, Dalton, Mr. Dalton. Who is your favorite basketball team, and why or how did you get such great taste as to say the Spurs?
It's not the Spurs. I mean, Kentucky basketball is my biggest college. I'm a Kentucky fan. I got lots of relatives that live in Kentucky, and but I keep up with Kentucky basketball pretty good. But I watch a lot of NBA basketball, and I don't have a favorite NBA team, but I basketball. I don't know. I might like basketball more than fishing. Like I love basketball and like keeping up with it. The older you get, the harder it is to keep doing that. I played in the league last year with my brother. He's 10 years younger than me, and I was like, man, this is hard to keep up with these young guys.
Couldn't
But I played a lot of that, and I don't know. I do watch a lot of NBA. I like watching the Warriors play, but Kentucky's my team for college.
I got old and fat. I've got my ankle wrapped now from wading in a creek.
Yeah. I know this is coming for me.
Henry Mosley asks, question for Creek Fishing Adventures. I live just south of Nashville. Have you done much fishing in Middle Tennessee? And if so, what are some of your favorite streams to fish?
I'd love to tell you the streams, but I'd get crucified if I tell you the names of the creeks that are there. Nashville area, the Middle Tennessee area has got some of the best creeks anywhere. And I would compare them to like creeks out in the Ozarks. Some of them creeks are amazing. You don't have to look far. If you're in Nashville, all you gotta do is look in a circle. There within 10 minutes of like downtown Nashville, there's creeks in every direction, and there's parks. There's so many parks. All you can do is look up parks, and there's creeks on them. And a lot of those creeks go through town, and you'd be surprised. They have some really good smallmouth fishing. They have way better smallmouth fishing over there than I do over here in East Tennessee, as far as my area. If I go northeast Tennessee is pretty good, but the streams of Middle Tennessee are flatter. They're rocky. Most of them, they just look better. You go up to Cookeville area, lots of good streams of fish. So if you're in the Nashville area, you don't have to look far. Just type in a public park, and I'm sure it's on a creek. And there's a ton to find and go explore. And that's part of the creek fishing. Part of it, like you don't want to say. A lot of people don't want to. I don't want to give away like specific creeks because a lot of them go through public property. So I don't want to like be putting people in the wrong spot. But also part of it, it's up to you to go find some of your own. You got to put a little work into it. Yeah, urban small.
I love fishing creeks and that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them through there, and the people are fishing them more. But there's a lot of places to go and just get in and start wading.
All right. I know you asked that question to John because he's located in Tennessee. I grew up in Middle East Tennessee, 96 miles from Nashville and 96 miles from Knoxville. Yeah. And I actually did used to live in Lebanon, which is right outside of Murfreesboro, I think is the area you're from. So I will tell you, look at the banks of the Cumberland River and then go east some.
Yeah. Anything that runs into the Cumberland is some good smallmouth fishing.
Right.
Those have the best. Yeah. Yeah, Lebanon area. There's a bunch over there. I still haven't got to all of them. There's so many creeks throughout, that area.
I will give away one that's pretty popular. He mentioned Cookeville. If you head toward Cookeville to do a variety of fishing, go to Caney Fork. Caney Fork Creek's one I'll give you.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite fish to fish for, John?
It's turned into smallmouth and streams. I love catching a variety. I love multi-species days where I'm just catching, all kinds of different things. But if I have to just choose one, I would definitely go for some smallmouth in a wading in a stream situation. Even kayaking is pretty fun, but when you're standing in that water and you're in there fighting them, and then you especially when some of them clear streams like you're talking about, you cast in there and this fish comes out of there and just hammers it, and you watch the whole fight. It's hard to beat that, and those things are so strong and moving current.
I
love green sunfish. Green sunfish is one of my favorite little sunfish because they're the way they are so aggressive. It's really fun. I like catching those.
Yeah, I never outgrew it either. People say I'm crazy, but honestly, if a bluegill or a panfish variety of fish, if they got to be 10 pounds, you would not get them to the boat.
Yeah.
Ounce per ounce, they probably fight the hardest. Now, smallmouth can get up to a decent size, so pound for pound, they would fight the hardest. But ounce per ounce, bluegill, green sunfish, if any of those got to be 10 pounds, they would not let you get them to the boat.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. It would be. Well, the only thing we can compare them to is like white bass. Like when people go catch white bass, they get a little taste of it. But if white bass were just like roaming around in creeks randomly and you just hooked into one, that's all you would want to fish for because those things get so hard.
If they grew up fighting current?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a smallmouth fights 10 times harder than a largemouth because it's used to swimming and fighting current to survive. Henry says, I love the Caney Fork. So much fun. Good for trout and smallies. Thanks for the tip, guys. It is. Also, I will warn you, though, on parts of the Caney Fork, be careful. I almost died one morning. The TVA does release a dam on the Caney Fork, so you can get caught in some hairy situations. So be aware of your surroundings on the Caney Fork, especially if you're wading.
Yeah, that water gets moving up there. Depends on what level they have it at.
Especially when they let that dam go. They let that dam go at times of year, like 9 in the morning, and everybody knows it. So we were fishing. Me and a guy after work. I worked third shifts. We went after work, and like, okay, we'll fish till 9, and then I guess our watch was slow because I'm like, was this deep when we started? It wasn't. And in 5 minutes, I mean, it was. So, but that's anytime you're fishing anywhere, you should be aware of the dangers. Do you do any catch and cooks, John?
I've done one or two maybe, but I want to do one. I'm too lazy to clean the fish. I don't know. I never grew up doing that. Like we never like caught or cleaned fish and everything. So I don't have any experience with it, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of cool to do, I think, but I don't have the patience for it, and maybe later or maybe in the winter I might try to do some, but it's not something I do very much. I usually throw everything back, and usually get ridiculed for throwing fish back. Like, why are you throwing all those good fish back? Like, I don't know. I don't want to carry them around with me while I'm walking around.
Mr. Mosley again. Have either of you fished the Tellico River in East Tennessee? I have not.
Yeah, it's a great river. It's not too far from me. I don't fish it a lot. It gets heavily stocked with trout. Comes out of North Carolina, goes all the way down. There's different sections of it. I've fished upper sections and lower sections. I've kayaked part of it. And then there's trout, then there's like smallmouth, and the lower part gets more like largemouth. But you can wade for smallmouth at the bottom part or go up where everybody else goes for trout. And then there's certain sections where you have to have a special license just to fish those sections at certain times of the year. So there's a lot of restrictions on that river because they put so much trout in there. But it's it's got some waterfalls on it and stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of that here. I currently live in Pennsylvania. I grew up in Tennessee, but I currently live in Pennsylvania. And we actually have a lockout season from February 20th to April something. Any stream or area that they put trout in, you can't even fish for other species in it.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Mr. Orchard. A little self-promotion, Stanley. It's okay. What was your worst day of fishing ever, and how much did it convince you to come to South Texas for some beach fishing? Me and Stanley go way back, so I can read him a little bit.
I've had lots of days where I didn't catch any fish, so I'm sure everybody that fishes a lot's had that. I had a tournament where this was one of the worst. I did a tournament. It was in February, so it's horrible. But I mean, we can fish all through the winter, of course, down here. And I hate fishing in February though for bass. So I fished all day, 8-hour tournament. Didn't get a bite. Didn't catch a single fish. On the way back to the ramp, I'm just making some casts, and I catch like 5 drum and like 3 catfish in like 30 minutes. And like I caught like a couple 12-pound drum on this tiny little lure. I was like, well, I kind of made it for not catching anything all day, but it's easy to go out and not catch anything in the wintertime.
Absolutely. My man, worst day ever. We all have that story coming. Yeah. Actually, I just told that story. I would say the worst day ever is when I got caught on a little island in the middle of the Caney Fork and had to wait on a couple of bass anglers for 4 hours to come save me. Finally, a boat came by that day.
Yeah, that's. We got a lot of dams around us, and I can see that. I've worried about things like that happening, being out there, and all of a sudden it kicks on right in front of you, or it doesn't have a warning. But yep. I also had a time when I flipped my kayak and got a hook in my finger. That was actually a pretty cool day though. I ended up losing like a GoPro and some tackle, but it was actually it was my first kayak trip, and I caught a lot of fish. So it was a good experience. Luckily, nothing like really bad happened.
Buff Bass Outdoors has a good question. He says, uploading 3 times a week. What would you do for uploads when it comes to getting stumped? And what would you do for winter time?
Yeah, whenever I quit my job, or whenever I quit to do this full time, it was right before winter. And everybody's like, what are you going to make videos on in the winter? I was like, well, I'll find something. There's something out there. I'll go for trout, or I'll go for crappie, go for bluegill, go for something. But, I mean, there's still days where I don't catch anything. I'll do a skunk video every once in a while, but I'm not going to do multiple ones. So I'll just go out and fish and, hop around from place to place trying to find something. If it gets really bad, you can always do if I have to put a video out there, make a video on talking about a certain lure or talking about something. You can try to mix it up, but I'll do a video where I, barely catch anything, but it not too many in a row. You don't want to get people expecting that, and they're like, okay, well, there's nothing going to happen. But showing a video where you don't catch fish is actually interesting every once in a while. Showing you, especially you show all the little places you went, how much effort you put into it, everything you tried, and you're like, well, and this is what happened.
Of the people you've got to fish with, do you have a favorite person that you fished with?
I don't know. I was thinking about something like that the other day. I fished with lots of different people, and everybody's different. Everybody's got their own little thing. So sometimes people take you to really good places. Sometimes people talk too much. Sometimes people, you have a horrible day fishing, but it's like a great person to fish with. So I don't know. I like fishing with different people, and I just mainly people that love multi-species fishing. Anybody that appreciates catching each species, I think that's probably my best. Some people we'll go out, we only, want to catch, a bass. And then some people I go with, they're like, if they foul hook a red horse, or they're like, oh, this is really exciting. I'm like, that's cool just to see that fish. So I guess people that just enjoy fishing and just are laid back.
You said there's 100 YouTubers that live within so many square miles of you in Tennessee. Do you fish with these YouTubers? I know you mentioned Alex Rudd earlier. We both know him.
I kind of just made that up, but I feel that's probably it. Most of them, let's see, I fished with there's 3 guys that probably live in my town that I fished with, and a couple other we're trying to get together. It hasn't worked out. There's several guys in Knoxville that I go up and fish with. It's about an hour and a half from me. Guys in Nashville. A lot of it just has to work out. Me being able to, do this full time, I can go anytime I want. With everybody else, most other guys, they're smaller. They don't, they have to really have the day work out. So it's hard to actually set up a lot of fishing trips and have it all work out. So, and then there's a lot of people fishers that fish around me that really only go out bass fishing off their boats. And I've only fished with a handful of those guys. I don't really fish with them much. They kind of have their own thing. I'm not going to help them out much as far as that, because I don't, most of my viewers don't want to see just the same like bass fishing over and over again. I think they like seeing different stuff. Right. And then I can't really talk to, like, I can't talk to somebody about all day about how to catch bass, out of a boat in the middle of summer or something like that. Or I'm not going to be able to give you any kind of, hints or helps on that. But I can talk about how to, downsize and go catch bluegill, or to find certain creeks to get into, or what size rod to, use in a creek situation.
It's still one of my favorite ways to fish. I mean, it's what we did as kids. That was no internet back then, so that was our entertainment. We didn't. I remember, we had the NES, so that was about as advanced as it got. So, but
I didn't have any game system until I was 15, and I remember getting a PlayStation, like the original PlayStation. And then by that time, I didn't really care for. I don't care for video games. I hardly ever play video games. I don't have any kind of game system, so I just never really got that.
We do. I play Mario Kart with my wife and kids. Yeah. We take that a little bit seriously, but yeah. I'm the same. I can't. I don't know. I can't sit still that long. So, Stanley says, "Props to the guy who got hooked while flipping a kayak and losing a GoPro and calls it a pretty good day." Was that one of your videos?
Yeah, that happened. That was my first kayak trip. Yeah, that was a good experience in the kayaking.
You upload 3 videos a week. I haven't seen them all. All right. Henry Mosey, I just hit 100 subscribers today. Congratulations. That first 100 is an absolute grind. What would you tell a small creator like me when it comes to growing a fishing/hunting/outdoors channel?
I would say find whatever you're most passionate about, whether it's fishing or hunting or doing some, and try to really dial in that and make all your videos on that. I don't know, Kelly, if you know of a lot of people that make videos where they're successful making hunting and fishing videos, and outdoor. Usually when they have a lot, it diversifies everybody, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I just don't know people that have done that. Like, there may be people out there. Maybe your personality is good enough. You're like a Kendall Gray kind of guy that you can do anything. It's just how you are that's going to get, views. But most of the time, I think you got to really try to be as specific as you can. And it's like, I guess it's like when you're a kid nowadays that, if you're good at soccer, baseball, and basketball, but by the time you get to high school, you're going to have to pick what path you want to go and really dial in on that, because the kids are so good at sports. I think it's more like that for subscribers, but also you got to do what you want to do. If you want to make hunting videos or you want to make fishing videos, then go for it. Maybe you want 2 channels. Maybe you want a hunting channel and a fishing channel. But I think YouTube takes so much effort. You got to find one thing that you're going to put all your effort into, and that's who you are. When people come to your channel, they know that you have this there, and you have multiple videos on this one topic.
I know like 3, maybe 4 channels that outdoor channels that can, kind of do it all. Steve Ranella, he's got the Meat Eater YouTube channel, but his YouTube success, or his success, doesn't come from YouTube. His YouTube success comes from being known outside of YouTube. So he didn't have to niche down into YouTube. And he's got a lot of creators that make videos for him now. They're part of the Meat Eater Corporation. YouTuber-wise, the biggest one I know personally would be Robert Arrington, Deer Meat for Dinner. He's got over 1 million. He's got over 1 million subs, and he does kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I don't know how he started. I know he's got that outgoing, exciting personality, and I mean, once you've got successful, you can, and you kind of known, you can do anything you want, I think. But starting out before anybody knows you, that's like what the person is talking about, getting sponsors. if you have 500 subscribers, you know, why does a sponsor or anybody want to invest in you? They don't know who you are, you know, or why does somebody want to watch your video on you going out and, you know, doing something random? You know, you haven't branded yourself yet. You have to go out there and I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at it. I just feel like being specific is the best.
Yeah.
But congrats on getting 100 though. It takes a little bit. It takes a work just to get 100.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Make sure you're engaging as much as you can with every comment and building friendships through YouTube. That's important.
Yeah, especially when you're that small.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who's a lot smaller than John.
I still try
answer
to do
all
it.
my comments, and yeah, you're here, so obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Stanley Orchard asks, who are your top 3 favorite content creators?
I like First State Fishing. I don't know if you know who he is, Mike. He's a young
He's
guy.
out of Delaware. Well, he was out of Delaware, and I actually have a video on my channel where I ran into him.
Oh, okay.
Actually, a fishing buddy of mine ran into him. We were just out fishing.
I met him the other day. We didn't fish, but I did meet him. That was cool. He's a cool guy. I've followed him for years. I just like how he just does what he wants to do. I appreciate that about him making videos, and he doesn't try to do anything too crazy, whatever. I don't like guys that go way over the top. I like guys that are pretty calm and do what they want to do because that's what they want to do. As far as content, like I love the meat eater stuff, you know, and of course I've been watching the up north one. I forget what it's called. It's another guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know his name, but he's got they got his own like little part. It's under the Meat Eater brand. They catch pike and stuff up there in Canada.
Jay Siemens.
Okay.
Canadian Angle.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's YouTuber Jay Siemens.
And I guess I got a lot of creativeness and I guess a lot of drive from watching Monster Quest or River Monsters.
Oh man, that was like
that was so big, like, and I remember that was another thing kind of inspired me to kind of make videos. I just loved how entertaining it was, and I wanted to do it to the opposite scale. I was like, I want to be River Monsters, except go for tiny fish. I just want the same concept. You go somewhere and try to catch
Creek
fish.
Deeps.
Yeah. Creek Stinks. That's good. That's a good channel title. But I just liked how they, would go somewhere to catch a certain fish, and I'm like, you can do the same thing in your own backyard. Go under a bridge in your town and go catch a fish you've never seen before. There's fish in there you don't even know they're in there. So I kind of like that concept. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of YouTubers that I like. I have lots of guys I know now. I watch some of their channels if I can. I've been watching a lot of. I watched Indiac Angler for a while. I got big into him. And then I watched Fishaholic. I was fishing down, like, he fishes the coast and down like the Florida Keys a lot. And I was like, that's super exciting. And then I'll like watch these people for a while, then I'll go find somebody else and just go around. Greg Blanchard. I've been getting into kayak tournaments. I've been watching a lot of his channel, and because that's what he does a lot of. But there's so many out there. I don't. It's hard to stay with one person for a long time. I know that's the same with me. Like I got people that subscribed early on, but I don't expect them to watch every video I have. That's too much. It's too long. They're gonna get bored at some point.
Well, especially if you're making content yourself. Like, you're releasing 3 videos a week. That tells me you're fishing every day during the summer months, right? I have fished my tail. I don't know how you keep up. Maybe it's because you're so much younger. But I have fished my tail end off this week in this heat. I mean, just fished and fished and fished because I've had time to do it and make content. And I am so beat up. I don't know how you just keep going.
Yeah,
I mean, it's impressive.
I got back from Michigan where I went on a 9-day trip, basically fished 9 days in a row, and I didn't fish for 5 days. I was just exhausted and just like I had so much editing to do. So I have to make myself not fish because I'm editing. If I had an editor, I would fish every day. But like I have to tell myself, no, don't fish. You have to work on stuff. You have to put out content. That's why this is why I'm getting paid to make the videos. Not actually. I mean, I'm getting paid from the videos, not from fishing. So, you know, there's a lot of days I try to make myself not fish, and I'll have days where I just do nothing all day. But then I get fired back up, like, I gotta get back out there. It doesn't take long for me to want to go out and do some more exploring.
All right. Let's go through. Well, you answered this one. I know Lunkers does it, but he did a lot of things from fish. Oh, you're talking about a variety of things. Yeah, Lunkers also managed to meet some people who kind of helped him along. So
yeah, and, he didn't he didn't do any fishing until he like really got with the Guggen stuff, and then he did all fishing for a while. So
yeah, and complete transparency. Now that he's not doing fishing all that much, I don't watch him.
Yeah.
I have zero interest in the other things he wants to do right now. I hate politics. I hate the news. Yeah. So I don't watch it.
I know. That's why a lot of people will come to watch fishing videos. They want to get away from that. So it's
right.
But yeah,
it's
I've kept up with
escapism.
some of those guys, but I don't really watch most of those guys.
Right. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He's big enough. If he wants his life to go a different direction, then fine. I'm not interested in what you want to do now.
What I get impressed with those guys, like I've been doing this for almost over 6 years. By the time I hit year 10, I mean, am I going to still want to make videos? Like, that's a lot of. Some of those guys, they've been doing it for more than 10 years, and they're still like putting out content and stuff. Like that takes a lot of work and a lot of just drive. You can get burned out anything, no matter if it is fishing every day. I know people are like, "Hey, you get to fish every day. It's the easiest thing in the world, right?" You know how it is. It takes a lot of effort, just to do that. Like,
and I don't get to fish every day.
Yeah.
I wish I did. I wish I did. John, excuse me. Stanley Orchard, yes. Jeremy Wade, great call. Absolutely. You know what, man? Fishing the Amazon with Jeremy Wade is like at the top of my bucket wish list. I would be so stoked and so terrified at the same time.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can die from. Pond Predator Nation asked, or actually was getting ready to ask, how do you balance fishing and editing?
Yeah, I don't do anything on Sunday. I got church, and I try to make myself do nothing as far as fishing wise. Every once in a while, I got a tournament coming up where I might fish the tournament. It's a state tournament. It's on Saturday and Sunday, but for the most part, like Sunday's a relaxed day. I do my church thing. I do children's church on that, and then a lot of times Mondays I plan Mondays for editing. So a lot of times Mondays is like my editing day. So unless somebody schedules a fishing trip or like a buddy that wants to go kayaking or something, that's the only day you can do it. Most of the time I just go, all right, so Monday I'm going to get up, try to catch up on editing, try to make sure I got my videos scheduled out to get, my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday video ready to go. That way I can fish the rest of the week. And if I get way behind, sometimes I got to edit Monday and Tuesday, or I'll go out and fish for 3 or 4 hours, then come back and edit. So a lot of my fishing trips are not all day. Like, it may only be 2-3 hours, and then sometimes they're 9-10 hours. But doing creeks and stuff, it's let me. I can go out and film a creek fishing video. If it's successful, I can be done in 2 hours, and I had a blast doing it. And kind of got my little, my thirst for fishing quenched for that day. And I got a fun little video to put out there.
I've watched some of your videos, and they all have. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them have similar intros. So when you go on your fishing trips and everything, do you carry a tripod or something? You film yourself, right?
Yeah, I use my iPhone for all my intros and everything, and then everything else is on a GoPro. I don't bring a tripod. I know a lot of people do, but it slows me down too much, and I don't want to carry it with me. I feel like it hinders me from exploring more. The more stuff you take, the less, the least, not as far as I'll go, whatever how you say that. But the least I have, the less stuff I have with me, the more adventures I get into, the more I'll push myself to get, go up further up a creek, go further through a place, go more into an area. And if I'm wearing a camera and I got a bag on, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'll go a little further and I'll go a little fun. And then that ends up, a lot of times I'll end up finding these little holes I didn't know were there and just end up having way more exciting time because you come across something new. Whenever if I used to try to bring a tripod and I'll set it up and you fish, don't catch it, you gotta go set it up, fish. It takes a lot more effort and slows you down. Hopefully one day have a cameraman. I think that'd be awesome.
No, I'm unemployed right now. Maybe we can talk.
Hey.
I'll ride your coattails. He says, I know it's taboo to say, but I never got into the Googling squad stuff. Just not my style. Nothing against them. Just not my thing. It's not for everybody. I get that. I don't like all of them. Like I said, I don't watch lunkers anymore. One, I'm just not interested in what he wants to do now. Just so there's me. And yet, there was some times in his video that makes me think me and Rob have different moral compasses, maybe, but that's neither here nor there.
It's you can learn. I watch some of their stuff just to learn. I mean, they've trailblazed the way. They are what we are all trying to do. Take a hobby into a career, into a brand, into you can retire. And that's what everybody wants, obviously. So I try to learn. You don't have to be like them. No, but I mean that's what makes you. If you try to be like them, you probably won't be successful because only they can be who they are.
Right.
And there's a million people out there YouTubing now. You don't have to like everybody. You'll find everybody's got somebody out there to find. And if you don't find anybody that you like, start your own channel. That's the best way to do it.
Good advice. There are some of them I still watch. Like I still like Lake Fork guy. I enjoy his content.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
I don't watch all of it, and actually I watch his family channel more now than.
Oh really? I don't think I've even watched it. I've seen some. I know he's got it.
Well, me and my wife are polar opposites. Like she's a city girl. I'm a country boy. She doesn't like to do any of the things I like to do, so it makes it hard for me to carve out the time to go make these videos and stuff. But she likes Lake Fork guy's family and his family content, so that's something we can kind of watch together. It kind of satisfies both of our viewership. You see where I'm at? I do use some of their baits. Like I got on a hot bite with their Slim Shake worm a couple of weeks ago when I couldn't get them to bite on anything else.
Right.
I mean, they work.
Yeah.
We're at Mr. Orchard. Okay, I'm curious, Mr. Dalton, as a viewer, what does it take to make you subscribe to a fishing channel? Good question.
I probably subscribe to 300 channels. But there's no way I'm going to be able to watch everybody's. If I see something that's a little bit unique, or like, if I come across a channel that's like, I don't know, something that maybe it's like I hadn't seen, or you just the way you approach yourself, it just catches my attention, and I think that's how everybody subscribes. They come across a channel that's like, something interesting about this one. I guess I'll subscribe to it. I'd like to see more. I do that to truck channels all the time. I watch a lot of truck fishing, or not truck, truck videos, and I stopped subscribing to channels though because you don't have to subscribe to everybody. Like it'll pop back up on your feed, So I watch a lot of like building Chevy hot rods and street trucks, stuff like that. I watch those all the time, but there's a lot of channels out there. I guess you got to have something too. Also, if I come to a channel, and I used to get this a lot, like, hey, subscribe to my channel, just started. They got 5 videos, and I'm like, you got 5 videos, like you got nothing to offer me. Wait till you get 20 videos before you try to promote yourself or try to expect people to watch. You know, they want to. Don't say, hey, I got 5 videos and they're all awesome. No, well, if you got 20 videos, maybe one of them's a good video, but have something for people to come out and see. You know, get 20, get 30, get 40 videos, kind of find your niche, and then you know you maybe expect people to come subscribe to it. I think a lot of people try to build their channel way too early, and it might hurt them. Try to be anonymous, put out some content, and let people just come to it. And then once you've gotten 20 or 30 videos, maybe you can start trying to self-promote yourself for people to come take a look at what you got.
Mm-hmm. And I would say do it, the promotion and everything, do it on your pages. Because you come in my comment box and leave a link to leave my video.
Yeah.
I block it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's like, if you're new, maybe you don't know that, but that's like bad manners. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, come subscribe to my channel. Like, no.
Yeah. That comment doesn't. Okay, those comments I don't answer because that comment doesn't hang around long.
Yeah.
Because the people that it was kind of we talked about this last week actually with Stanley Orchard, who's in the chat tonight, was the guest here last week, and me and Stanley had started kind of doing this the same way. But there was a trend back around 2018 where a bunch of us got together and supported each other's channels. These live streams were a big thing back then. They called them like growth streams. And it honestly, it helped me grow a lot. I hit my 1,000 subscribers here, but it didn't help me grow anything past that. And like when you do it like that, YouTube doesn't recommend your footage because the people that are subscribing to your channel, they care about their channel. They're not watching your stuff. They're not watching your content. So YouTube doesn't have any reason to recommend it to other viewers. If that makes sense. Question for both. What is your favorite way to catch smallmouth bass? Mine is a tie between topwater and fly fishing.
I just like regular spinning rod. I have a rod that I kind of feel like is the best for me for doing that. 6'9" medium, extra fast rod. And I have a lot of confidence in it. And most of the time it's drifting a Helgramite or, topwater's fun, but I don't know. I want to, whatever way is to catch the most of them. You know, I'd rather not throw a big lure if I'm going to only catch a few fish. I'd rather throw something that's going to catch as many as I can. And I haven't caught a smallmouth on a fly rod. I mean, I have for fly rods, but I haven't tried them that much. I just like to when I go fish, I just want to catch fish, and whatever the best way for that usually.
Yeah. Jeff, I'd gladly do that when you're in my neck of the woods. I don't know what comment he was referring to on that one. I'm sure it was for you.
I'm sure I go up there and fish with him. I need to do that before it gets here in the next 2 months, if I can get it in.
Well, we are both fortunate enough to be within a certain distance of the probably 1 and 2, and I don't know who's who right now on that, of the best smallmouth fisheries in the world. So if you want to come up here and fish the Susquehanna River, I'll do it with you. More than welcome.
That's something I have to do. Like, I don't know how I haven't got to it yet, but like they had the Hobie tournament, and I guess I could have done that. I didn't really know anything about it. Like I'm late to get into finding out about these tournaments, and if I'd have known, I would have planned that ahead of time and tried to do it because I had a couple guys I know go up there.
There's a big name that fishes that Hobie tournament on the Susquehanna. It's held by Mike Aganelli.
Oh yeah.
So if you come up here and did that Hobie tournament, you might get to fish against Ike.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of good anglers up there. Obviously, those are getting. That's something I'm getting into.
You don't know who that is?
Oh, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, you do.
I know who he is. It's not what I knew really. I know I know he got into a kayak tournament. He started doing that now from those boat tournaments. But
well, he's probably He's a Jersey guy, Jersey, Philadelphia guy. So he's probably the most famous or biggest name around here.
All I know is from Screaming. I don't know.
Yeah. I had someone ask. I've been trying to get him on the show for a bit, but I had someone ask him if I ever do. Don't ask him if the Screaming's an act. I'm like, after 20 plus years of it, I think it's just who he is.
Yeah. That kind of stuff like turns me off. I can't stand that. Like, I know you get excited, but like getting too much into it just gets on my nerves. But I mean, you gotta be who you are, though.
Absolutely. My hero growing up was Bill Dance. I used to watch him every Saturday morning. Stanley, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure for you to have to get back in time. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Have a good night. Cameraman. Jeff said he'd be your cameraman.
Oh, okay.
Got it, man. Understandable, Henry says. All right. Buff Bass Outdoors, another YouTube question. When it comes to income, what would you say is your best source of income from YouTube? AdSense. AdSense, I'm getting. Yeah. AdSense, affiliate, sponsors, etc.
Me, it's AdSense. That's like all I live off of. I just finally started making like a decent amount of money from sponsors, just enough to be able to pay for my vehicle payment pretty much. Affiliate links, I make like, it's not much at all. Maybe a couple $100 from that. But I know a lot of guys, they make more off their sponsors than YouTube. And I hope to get to there one day. But it just, I had one deal with a company. It's going to pay as much. I was going to double my income basically. And then it was right before COVID hit and it just went away. It lasted like half a month. And if that would have stayed, that would have been a really big deal. But all my money basically comes from the YouTube AdSense. That's 90% of my income.
Did COVID damage some of your filming and stuff? Like up here, we had some like parks and lakes and stuff that were shut down that I was going to film at.
No, everything stayed open. What it did was, I feel like people were watching more videos, I think. But as far as companies needing YouTubers to sell stuff, they kind of backed out of some stuff, and then they don't need any help selling stuff. Everybody's buying fishing stuff. Like fishing went crazy, especially around here. Like everything was sold out. Everything was behind order. Like nobody needed any help selling stuff because that's all everybody was doing was going out fishing. So it helped. It probably did good for me in my like fishing wise. Like I went like right when it started, they were telling people to stop driving places, and I drove to Oklahoma. There was like nobody on the road. It was awesome. It was like the best time for
straight shot.
Yeah, but I went up there, stayed with my sister for a week, and fished and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. So it didn't affect much.
They did for a little bit, some state parks and stuff like that. And then I guess some like representatives up here got involved and said, no, you can't do that. These are publicly funded areas. You can't close them off to the public. It violates their rights. So.
That's what everybody's wanting to do: go out and get away from people, or go out these parks. But they tried to close a few of them, and it didn't last.
Since fishing
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Since fishing was like an outdoor activity that people could do, like you couldn't go to the movies, you couldn't go bowling or anything like that. Yeah, they cleared the shelves. There was nothing on the shelves. Every fishing company sold out of everything in every store. Matter of fact, the Lightning kayak that you asked me about, I have it because Lightning was the only manufacturer that had raw goods because I bought it during the pandemic to go out and kayak fish, get away from everybody.
Yeah.
Because boat access was open. So I could get on the river, I could get on the lakes and stuff like that if I went through, the boat access. But like they were shutting down pavilions and parks. And, I had a question. How many views do you think you need before you consider doing only this? Do you have like a number in mind that would tell you, okay, you're headed the right direction?
Oh, like as far as growing to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, everybody's different. It depends on how much money you need. So when I quit, I was at 23,000 subscribers, but I was trending. I was growing and making like $2,500 a month, which it was not enough to like sustain me. But I had saved like $12,000 from my YouTube income, or maybe 15,000. I can't remember. I had a pretty good chunk saved up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna quit. I'll be able to at least last 6 months, and hopefully by the end of 6 months, my YouTube growth will have caught up, and I'll be able to kind of almost replace my old job. And it took about a year to kind of replace how much money I was making before, and now I'm making, last 2 years I've made more than I was doing in my old job, which was a good job, but the expenses are ridiculous. Like it costs a lot, because once you're every day I'm driving somewhere new, or I'm going 50 to 100 miles to go fishing. You need more gear. A GoPro breaks, you gotta have it working. You gotta have your GoPro to make videos. I had to buy a new laptop. I just bought another camera for just doing live streams. So I wouldn't. You got to make sure it's all about the revenue. I don't think the size. I know guys that have 100,000 subscribers are barely making anything because they're not getting any views, because all those subscribers came off maybe a couple of videos that kind of blew up. But you need steady viewership, and you got a steady income, and you've proven that for 6 months or more, and you feel like it's staying, at least steadily growing, and then you're like, okay, it's worth it to me. But what is it worth it to you? Everybody's different. One person need to make $100,000 a year or a month to quit their job. One person might only need $15,000 a month. They're like, all I need. A year. I meant a year, anyways. Hope you can make it off $100,000 a month. But one person might need $15,000 a year to survive. One person might need $100,000 a year to survive. And then what other deals do you have? Do you already have somebody else on board that's going to, pay for something, or are you totally leaning off of your YouTube? So I don't know. I can't tell anybody. I knew, like, when I quit, all I had to worry about was me. And I felt like I was pretty good at taking care of myself. And if I had to go back and get a job, I could have went this next day and got hired right back where or some other job. I had a good skill set. I did heating and air. I was a service technician, and I could get a job anywhere. Everybody's looking for a service technician. So I was super confident in that. And if that had to happen, I would have done it. If it still has to happen, I could do it. I feel like I could go back into that and do it. So I don't know. It's a hard decision. It's just got something you got to factor in. And I wanted a new challenge, so I was ready for a challenge in my life. I was, I think I just turned 30 when I did it. So I was 30, single, have a pretty cheap house that I'm paying for. Had a good deal on it. I didn't have any vehicle payments, and I was like, yeah. What's the worst could happen? I get to go fish for 3 months, then have to go back to work. What's it gonna hurt? It's something I'll never get to experience if I don't try it. So for me, I'm ready for this challenge. I don't care if I fail. We'll see what happens, and it's something I wanted to do. And it could be and I couldn't keep up. I was doing heating and air, and I couldn't make videos hardly in the summer because I would work till 8:00 at night, and I didn't have any time for fishing. So that was another part that kind of really pushed me to quit. But I had a friend that he waited till he got like 90,000 subscribers before he quit his job. But he would go out, but he had time to go off and work. But everybody's different.
I saw a video once by old catfish dude, been around for a while, like even before YouTube. Steve Douglas, is that his name?
I'm not sure.
But he's famous for catfishing. He's like got his own line of like catfish hooks and catfish equipment or something like that. But he said that he knew that's what he wanted to do, and he said that in his long life on this planet, his experience is if you find what you're passionate about and you know that's what you want to do, you got to do it. You got to be all in. At some point in your life, you have to decide, okay, for this, like you said, what's the worst can happen? 3 months, I get to go fish for 3 months. For those 3 months, you were all in.
Yeah.
So you got to pick a point in your life to just be all in. If that's this is what I want, go get it.
Yeah, at least try it. If it's something that it might not sustain you. I mean, obviously you got to feed your family and take care of yourself. But I like watching these videos on YouTube how people show you how to make a living doing pretty much anything. But if, like you said, if you could pick anything you wanted to do and just be like, all right, I'm diving all into that and I'm going to master it. As far as like pressure washing houses, washing cars, mowing lawns, if you just commit to it, you can be successful at it. But it has to be something you're not just like, I'm gonna piddle around with it. You gotta be like, no, you gotta go for it and do it. YouTube's a little bit different. You just don't know how successful you're gonna be. But
right.
And that's the thing, a lot of people are hold back. Like, you don't have to go out and buy the nicest equipment, but like it took me a couple of years, maybe 2.5 years, to really get serious about trying to make the best videos I can make. I kept putting that off for a long time. I kept thinking, I'm just small. I'm just here to, I'm not going to put 100% effort into making videos. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, and I think somebody challenged me on it. It's about like, hey, if you're going to do it, go do it all the way. I was like, you know what? I should put more effort into that. If it does take me an extra hour to edit this video to get it just a little bit better, this video is going to be out there forever. So, and I think a lot of people are hold back a little bit on, what they're doing. They're still loading in like low quality, or they're still, I don't know, not taking it super seriously. They're just like, they're kind of holding back. They're afraid to go all in. And like you said, some people, it's definitely a fear to go all in on something. Because if you fail, you're like, I failed at that. Don't be afraid to fail. Just go and try.
You learn more from your failures than you do from your success.
Oh yeah, that's good.
You at least figured out what not to do.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mosley. Actually, I think we answered this before, but we can ask it again. How long did it take you to reach 1,000 subscribers? Okay, we answered that. We didn't answer this part. And how long did it take to get monetized?
They changed. I was monetized, and then YouTube changed the. Were you on YouTube when they changed it to had to be 1,000 subscribers? Because it used to not even be that. It used to be you could be monetized. I can't remember what it was. It was something a lot easier. It was like
10,000 views.
10,000 views on your channel. Yeah. So I had just got monetized. I'd made like $200, and then they changed it to, and I was at like 600 subscribers, and then they changed it to, you got to have 1,000. So I had to like kind of re-get there. But really, looking at it, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you got to have 1,000 subscribers. Like that's nothing." And what is it? 4,000 hours of watch time now, I think. So that's in YouTube life. That's a nothing. That's barely anything. So if you're wanting to make money off of it, you don't even worry about that. Like you got to get there. You got to get there, but don't think once you've got 1,000, you've made it. But it took me 2 years, and so I had to get back to 1,000. So after 2 years, I got monetized again.
It took 2 years. I don't know if you were asking me that question too, but it took 2 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. Before they changed the rules, I had the 10,000 views. So I had super chat and all that. And when they changed the rules to the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 watch hours, 6 years and counting, I'm still on Monetized. So
Is that per year, 4,000 in the year or something like
it's
that? Because it
4,000
resets,
watch.
don't it?
It's 4,000 watch hours in a year
Yeah.
of watch time. It's a calendar year. I mean, it's a rolling year, but yeah. And then, but I've got a family, other things. I might be there if I was putting out 3 videos a week, so maybe that's what I need to do. You know?
It's amazing. I can see a big difference in my like revenue and in my watch time if I have like back-to-back weeks of 2 videos a week, and then compared to back-to-back weeks of 3. So if I go down to like 1, or if I have a week where I don't have a video, that's a huge drop. So yeah, that makes a big difference. Getting out that many videos, a huge difference.
These will help. I'm not suggesting everybody does this. I mean, YouTube, these will help with your watch time, but they'll also damage your CTR, because if, say, YouTube recommends your videos in your end screen or in your minute box, and this is one of them, people aren't going to click. I mean, y'all come in here to ask questions and learn from John, but after this, if you just clicked on this video, creek fishing adventures and blue collar fishing, you'd be like, where's the fishing? I'm not going to watch 2 hours of this. So they leave, and then YouTube sees that as people are only watching a small percentage of your video, and you fall further down the algorithm. That's the reason I unlist these after a week.
Okay, I was wondering about that, that's what I was going to ask you about that later. But yeah, I know a lot of guys that had started podcasts and it felt like it hurts their channel. And also, like, if somebody sees it, this video, and they're like, well, it's not fishing, I'm not going to watch it. Then the next time a fishing video comes up, it might not get pushed as hard to that person,
right?
Because they've already like rejected, not even clicking on
it. And
that
was, the same guy asked the question earlier. Actually, we were talking about niching down. And the reason, if you have a broad channel or you make videos about different things, that might not appeal to your target audience. And then, so say at YouTube right now, they don't really like hunting and gun videos. They don't promote those as hard as they will a fishing video at the moment. So if you want to make it fishing, I think, then it would probably be wise to niche down into fishing. I have a couple of, sorry about that. I have a couple of hunting videos on my channel too, because I do hunt. We have winter. I live in the Northeast. So we have a time when, I can't ice fish and I can't open water fish either, because there's no open water and there's no safe ice.
Yeah.
So, but it's possible that those videos, say you make a hunting video and that gets pushed to your fishing crowd. Well, the fishing crowd might not care about that, right? Yeah. So then the following week you make a fishing video. Well, the hunting crowd that came to see your hunting, maybe you had a popular video in a different crowd, or a hunting crowd, or the firearms crowd, or whatever it is in YouTube. And then next week, that video gets pushed to those viewers when you make a fishing video, and they don't care about fishing. So yeah. It gives YouTube a hard time knowing where your videos belong. And it can decrease your impressions. Yeah. If you want to make a completely outdoor channel that appeals to everybody, and that's where your passion lies, like John said, then do it. Worst thing is you fail and you figure it out somewhere else. But that's just my take. Would you agree with that, John? I mean,
yeah, I think you're right.
1,000 times bigger than me, so.
Yeah, I think you're right on about that. Like, I do a video like every once in a while, and I even do it every year is like a recap of my channel, and I'll just be like a talking video. I'm just like, hey, this is what happened last year. This is what's going on. Like the first 1 or 2 did really well, But like every other time I've done it, it gets like half the views of like me just going out and fish for, a 15-minute fishing video. And this one I'm like covering all this like details and talking about all kinds of stuff. But I think it just doesn't. People just don't click on it, or it just doesn't get pushed, and they're like, it's not fishing. I'm not gonna watch it. So it's funny how that works. But I just started a second channel just for like putting whatever I want to put on there, so I can keep my main channel just like straight fishing and not like really anything else. And then I just started a second channel just to throw, like, if I wanted to put like a just helpful hints or just to talk about something simple, I know I could put it on there because if whoever watches that can watch it. But like if I put it on my main channel, I know it's only going to get half the views and it might affect my next video. So it's kind of not worth the risk of posting it.
Awesome. All right, John. What do you got coming up, man? What's your next video?
Let's see here. So I got think the video, I got it edited already, and I think I just got to put the title on. But I got a video from fishing in Indiana when I was coming back from Michigan. I stopped at this pond, this little lake. There's all kinds of natural lakes. Well, I don't know if y'all have those up where you're at. Like, there's just tons of little natural little lakes. Like, this was like a 200-acre lake, and it was loaded with bass. I caught a 5.5-pound largemouth up there, and like a couple 3-pounders, and like a bunch of like 1-pounders. I stopped for like 3 or 4 hours, and just like it was on fire. It was crazy. So I got that coming out, and then I got about 6 or 7 videos to edit. One's from fishing in South Georgia. I caught some redfin pickerel, and then I fished in the Savannah River for Bartram's bass. They also got smallmouth in there. I had one that came off, and then I've already been back, and I've got 1 or 2 videos from fishing around here. One of them's a kayaking. I caught a bunch of fish on a spinnerbait at this lake. And then as far as like coming up, I got the 20th. I got a river kayak tournament, and then the 27th I got another kayak tournament. So and then I'm getting ready to start basketball in about 2 months. So there's so many things I wanted to get done that even me, I have all the time. That's all I do is fish. There's still so much fishing that I want to do. Like you can't ever like get all the fishing in your life that you want to get done.
No.
Still haven't caught a 5-pound smallmouth, so I'm trying to get that done. I may have to come up towards you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I definitely wouldn't argue with that. I mean, it would be wise of me to say, yeah, you got to come up here and fish with me, and let me be on your channel.
Yeah.
Actually, you can head toward Del Hollow and possibly accomplish it as well.
Yeah, I fished out there. I've caught my biggest one.
Too honest.
My biggest smallmouth that actually did come from there, 4.65. But man, I've been out there with my friends I've never kayaked it, but I've been out on a boat, and it can be rough. It can be super slow, and it's just like But I guess
Del Hollow is one of the few places in the world that you can get on a smallmouth bite and consistently catch 2 to 4 pound smallmouth.
Yeah.
Like you catch very few smaller smallmouth in Del Hollow than you would other places. Like I got a trip on hopefully, and I hope this ankle is all right by Saturday. Speaking of, actually, Adam Mahora, I have a trip with him Saturday. If I can walk, I have a trip with him Saturday on the Delaware River. And the Delaware River, you can catch some quality smallmouth, but it's here and there. You'll have to go through, 10 half-pound smallmouth to get in that range. Where Del Hollow, you can go down there and catch
buckets, just
2 to 4 pound.
Yeah,
you can catch some bucketless smallmouth down there. And up here on the Susquehanna River, we have quality smallmouth, and we have them in abundance.
I've listened to a couple podcasts and people talk about from the Hobie tournament how there's a lot of people didn't do good, but a lot of people they caught lots of like really good smallmouth. I was like, that sounds fun. Which we got them. I mean, I could like where I'm at down here in the southeast corner of Tennessee. It's not quite as many smallmouth. If I just go a little bit north, and of course northeast around Kingsport and the Holston River stuff, there's a lot bigger smallmouth over there. I just need to get up there and flood some of those rivers more.
Adam, our average smallie is 13 inches in the Delaware, but they rarely make it bigger than 2.5 pounds. Yeah, that's about the average minimal in Del Hollows, about 2 pounds. You catch 2 pound smallmouth and be like, eh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've seen that.
But I will say this, though. It seems like, Del Hollow is a reservoir.
Yeah.
And deep, clear water. And Del Hollow is the clearest water I've ever fished. I mean, it's like, there are parts of Del Hollow, it's like fishing in a Dasani water bottle. And, but a 2.5 pound smallmouth out of a river system will make you think you've got a 10 pound fish. I mean, an old boot can pull in current, so
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely totally different. But the thing is, like, they don't usually get as fat. So I've caught a couple 20-inch smallmouth that were like barely over 3 pounds, but 20 inches out of rivers, out of the Holston River. Most of the time, those river fish just get long and skinny.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's good in kayak tournaments where inches count instead of pounds.
Yeah, that's what I was like. That's why I've been able to be successful, or like a little bit successful. I'll go up some of these creeks where these skinny, like, spawned out bass are going up to feed. So I'll be able to go up there and like catch an 18-inch one, but it weighs like 2 pounds because it's so slim. But it sure helps out in the tournaments.
Well, John, we've been on there about an hour and a half. I'm not keeping you from anything, have I?
Oh, no.
Okay. I, again, really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you answering all the questions everybody's had.
It's been fun. Yeah.
Jersey Shore zone, so I'm half listening. Telling you, man, those Jersey guys are built different.
Oh, that's still a thing.
Hey, Adam, I look forward to Saturday, and I really hope your boat doesn't sink because I am battling a rolled ankle and some Achilles tendonitis. So, man, just walking's a challenge right now. Hope you got an area to sit down if I can heal. If I can't stand up Saturday, then I'll let you know. Or Friday night. I'll let you know Friday night. Henry Mosley, thanks, guys. I've enjoyed it. I appreciate all the tips and advice. Henry, you are more than welcome. I appreciate you coming in and asking your questions. And actually, Mr. Mosley, as small as he is, will be my guest next week. I don't discriminate. Big, small, whoever. Fishing's for everybody. So,
and your size of your channel means nothing about what you know. That's one thing for sure.
Like, I can't answer. I mean, I can't answer some of your YouTube questions. I've been doing this for a while. I can answer some editing questions. I can answer what are the rules for YouTube or whatever, because I keep track of this stuff like that. But I obviously can't answer like John can answer. I can't tell you how to get to 100,000 subscribers. I don't know. I can't tell you how to get to 35 million views. I don't know. But I've been fishing a lot longer than I've been filming. So some of those questions I can answer.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from smaller creators. I've learned a lot more from them than probably the bigger guys that I've fished with.
Well, especially if you're going like a certain place, because there are a lot of, like, if you YouTube a certain area, it's probably going to be smaller creators because they're just fishing this local area. So if you YouTube that, like, I got a bunch of areas here, there might be like 3 videos on, and it's from people who might have, 200 subscribers and haven't made a video in 3 years or something like that. But there's a video on this area I'm going. So I actually did it for Saturday's trip. I YouTube the area of the Delaware I'm going, and there's not much. So
what kind of water is that? Is it like deep or is it like current or?
It can get pretty swift pretty quick. The Delaware River is big enough to be partially tidal, so and it dumps into the Potomac.
Okay.
So and there's actually pretty much every creek and most rivers on the northeast coast dump into the Delaware at some point, and then the Delaware dumps into the Potomac, and the Potomac dumps into the Chesapeake Bay, and then into the ocean. So it's like that. It's like Finding Nemo. All water actually does lead to the ocean eventually. Yeah. But the Delaware, actually, I went fishing with. We didn't go fishing in the Delaware, but we did cross the bridge because the Delaware divides Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We share that river system, so that's like the state line is the Delaware River here. And we crossed over the Delaware into New Jersey 2 weeks ago. I was fishing with a guy, and that's if you live in Pennsylvania, you can get an annual New Jersey fishing license and fish over there too. So I was fishing with a guy, and actually somebody drowned on that river that day as we was crossing it. So I mean, the Delaware can get sketchy. There are places it can flood at the drop of a hat.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't take much.
Going into it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What kind of lures y'all probably gonna be throwing? Do you know?
I do actually, because he sent me a message the other day. A topwater, not a frog, is what he said. Yeah. So a topwater, not a frog. So floating rapella is like my confidence topwater bait because it's the first one I ever caught anything on as a kid. First like lure I got. I'm like you. I grew up with my grandparents, worm fishing, or minnow fishing, or something like that. They were live bait people, but unlike you, they were fishing for supper. We were fishing to fry them. But I remember the first like lure I threw and got a bass to bite, like I fooled that fish, was a floating it's actually rapala. Everybody calls it rapala, but it's actually rapala. It is. It's a Swedish company. It's pronounced rapala. So a floating rapala topwater, and then tubes are big up here. So we'll throw a tube for smallmouth. And then there are two kinds of fishermen, bass fishermen especially, those who fish a Cinco or stick bait, and those who lie about it. So a 4-inch Cinco or stick bait.
Yep.
He said, we are going to avoid the wing dam. Perfect. I'm going to avoid standing if this ankle has to stop hurting. I'm still. Lori Rapala was Finnish. He was Finnish, and the company is Swedish. It's manufactured in Sweden, or originally manufactured in Sweden, and now sold in America. So, Finland, Sweden.
Is spinnerbaits a big part up there? Y'all use that a lot in rivers?
I mean, people use them, spinnerbaits, but I don't use them a lot. I use an inline spinner more than anything. One, because I grew up with it in Tennessee. I actually just saw your video about it. The rooster tail was a big deal when we were kids. Yeah. I still catch a lot of trout on them. My youngest son has absolutely mastered an inline spinner. That is his confidence lure. That's the first thing he ties on, and he'll throw it all day. Some days he'll just whip fish after fish, and other days he struggles. But trout season, that's all he throws. If muddy spinnerbaits work, I have more success if windy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People ask me, I'll clean it up a little bit for you. So people ask me what I throw in cold, muddy water up here. And I said, my stuff in the truck and go to the house. Cold, clear water is one thing. Warm, muddy water is one thing. Cold, muddy water, that's a tough day. You know? So, yeah, my stuff in the truck and go to the house. That's what I throw.
That's good. I love the spinnerbait. It's big around here, like in rivers and stuff, especially. But it's definitely something I have confidence in, and I'm if the weather like it just we had a day a couple days ago where you got out in that morning and you're like, wait, something's different. It finally like had that little fallish feeling, you know. It's like it's about to be here. It's about to come. Y'all may have had that for a little bit. I know it's still hot out, but it's finally like that little change to the weather. And I went fishing with a buddy, and they were eating that spinnerbait like as far as they could eat it. Their mouths were like all the way up to the V part, and they were just like inhaling it. And I caught like 6 or 7 that were just hitting that thing. And that's something I like for especially when the fish start feeding really good. But it's something to eat. It's for me, it's easy to throw, and especially if I have a boat and moving water, you can just chuck it and hit that bank, and when the fish hit it, for me, they're just going to hammer it. But I never use tubes. I need to use tubes more. But there's a million lures that's what's funny about fishing, and I like talking and ask people what people use. Sometimes it's regional, what people grew up using, and what they have confidence in, and then what their dad used, so they use it. You know, half the time there's 30 lures that'll catch the same fish.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely lures I have confidence in. Like right now, I'm on this. I don't know. You know how there's like that lure that people consider you a master of. It's I don't know. You've got so much confidence in it. You're known for throwing it, I guess.
Yeah.
So right now I'm on a big Gulp Alive mini kick. I mean, when I just can't catch anything else, those will catch everything in the river.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the scent. I don't know if. I think that helps. I used to think that was rah horse crud, but I've had so much success on Berkeley, which has, is known for their scented products that results don't lie, I guess, So
yeah, if it's clear water like that, I throw that Helgramite and I just let it drift in the current. Just throw it on the bank or around rocks or even in the middle if the fish are all through the water, and I just let it slowly drifts and kind of just tumbles around. And that's my confidence in clear water. I feel like when the fish see it, like they can't turn it down. They see it, they have to hit it. At least that's what I think in my mind. And I fish it that way where I'll just let it go, and it's done really well for me. But I kind of fish it sort of like a Ned rig style, but also a little different. I kind of let it drift and fluctuate. And but yeah, I don't know. I have different ones that it changes. I'll be catching fish and I'll try something new, and I'm like, wow, this one really works. And I'll try something else. Wow, this really works. And then sometimes come all the way back around to using something we used to use a long time ago. Like, you know what? This lure still works.
Right. I have, I mean, he didn't send me that, but I will also carry a Ned rig. I have some confidence. I've had some results with Ned rigs. I think they did a study once up here, and maybe you saw it, where a bass eating a crayfish and how long it takes to eat a crayfish, but then they rip its claws off and he eats it like in half the time because he knows it's in like an easy meal. And if you growing up or even as an adult now, you throw a creature bait or a crawl style bait and the fish rips the claws off, we change it and put another one on. And then, so after that study, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't change it. Maybe I should just throw it back out there, And then the Ned rig came around, and if you think about it, what's a Ned rig? It's like a crawl with no claws.
Yeah.
And I've seen guys just hammer it on a Ned rig, have 50, 60 fish days. I've seen guys not catch anything too. If Kelly snags his Neds aren't that expensive. I'll snap off. So that's what the fluorocarbon leader's for. I've tried some Helgramite lures throughout time and found other things catch more and bigger smallies. May be true, but maybe it's the region we're fishing as well, or maybe it's because tubes are so popular up here. Tubes are they're a really popular way to catch smallmouth up here. And if you think about it again, a tube looks like, especially if you're using a weighted tube hook, it looks like a clawless crayfish.
Yeah.
You got 14 minutes in you?
Yeah.
Good. I like even numbers.
Yeah, let's finish it off at 10.
Helps me with the watch time calculations.
That's the reason I like going from I like fishing different places, because everywhere is different, and I try to take what I think works sometimes to somewhere different, and it just doesn't work. And I think I got this figured out, and I'll go here and I'm like, how come this is not working? And then somebody from that area is like, well, try this, and then it's like, wow, that works. And there's everywhere is different. Sometimes things I take somewhere, sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. That's why I like asking about different places, what people catch fish on, what people have confidence in, and fish eat different up north than they do down here, especially the smallmouth. Smallmouth, I feel like you can probably catch them on the same lures, but I feel like they are different, the way they eat and different times of the year and stuff like that. It's always interesting. And every river is different. How deep is the river you're fishing, and how much flow is it? Where are the fish holding up at?
Right.
But I'm a shallow bank fisherman. Like when I go out fishing, I'm, except unless it's a creek or something. If I'm hitting a lake or a big river, I'm hitting the bank and fishing shallow. That's like the only thing I know, and that's what I got confidence in. There could be a guy behind me catching fish deep, and I'm catching fish shallow. We could be both catching fish, but where are those bigger ones at? That's what about fishing is, trying to figure it out. But sometimes you just get into a pattern of this is working, and you stay with it. Don't realize, and you could change and catch bigger ones or better ones. But then sometimes I'll change for no reason, and I don't catch anything. So there's that too. I hate when I do that.
Do you have a bucket list fish you want to catch now?
I haven't caught a snakehead yet, so that's on it.
That's on mine too.
Is that up near you?
Because
or what?
He says actually this section of the Delaware we're going to has some snakeheads in it. So we do have snakeheads in like Philadelphia region, Delaware River out here. They say Onalani has them. I've seen a couple of guys post saying they caught them out of Onalani. I fished Onalani quite a bit. I've never caught one.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I still have yet to catch a snakehead, but it's funny because I know people who have caught them, and I went to like a fish fry where they made them. So I've ate a snakehead, but I've not caught one. So
are they good to eat?
Yeah. Oh, they're delicious. They
yeah?
are. They're absolutely delicious. They're like firm white meat. It tastes like the best crappie you'd ever eat in your life.
Oh yeah.
They have almost a texture like scallops, so they have a real firm, white, flaky meat on them. Sort of sweet tasting.
I like eating fish when other people cook it. People are like, "You don't eat fish, do you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll eat it if somebody else cooks it." I don't hardly cook anything myself, so that's just.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't like putting the effort into it.
Flows right now are real low, 6 feet max depth in the areas we will be. That's great because I am a skinny water expert. I never mastered fishing deep.
That sounds like fun.
I hate throwing deep diving crankbaits. They are the most useless lure in my tackle box. And the areas that we have around me to throw them, I would go through several of them because like the lake near me has a town underneath it to get snagged up on. So
yeah, I don't know how to do anything deep. I would like to learn more maybe, but I don't know. There's too many things to learn about fishing. I want to be good at like a few things. I'd rather be good at a few things than try to be just know how to do a million different things. So I barely use it. I just started using bait casters because I just didn't want to use them. I didn't want to try them. And I finally started using them for certain situations. But most everything I do is super finesse and really lightweight lures. So I'm like, I feel like I'm really good using a spinning rod, getting it where I want it, doing what I want to do with it. So like crankbait, I never use crankbaits at all. It's just something I don't know anything about and don't try, I guess. Maybe one day I'll start trying.
I don't. Yeah, I'm also the type of, if I don't see results, like I'm not going to throw something all day and not get a bite.
Yeah.
You know, I will change after an hour. I'm like, all right, yeah.
I know, that's me. I've been trying to use some bigger swim baits and some glide baits, and like I've been trying to throw them, but if I'm fishing by myself, I can't make myself throw them very long. If I'm fishing with somebody else and they're doing it, I might, like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But
Right.
That's I finally I did catch a fish off like a 8-inch glide bait. It was a 25-pound striper out of the Caney Fork, and fishing with a guy and off his boat. And that was really cool. But we fished, 8 hours and I caught one fish. It was pretty cool. It's not something I would want to do every day. That's a lot of chucking and winding for. It's pretty exciting, but I mean, I'd rather go catch 20 bluegill in an hour or something like that. And just be like, yeah.
I'm like you, man. I am so notorious for that. Like I'm like, okay, we're going smallmouth fishing, and we're going to throw this, and we're going to throw that, and focus on the smallmouth. And then I'll be out somewhere. I'm like, in 2 hours, I ain't caught a smallmouth. Where did bluegill at? I'll hit a tree and catch 20 bluegill, get my confidence back up or whatever.
Yeah.
I just never outgrew it. It's pretty much what we all started on, and light tackle with small hooks and small lures. They put up a good tussle. If you're going to eat them, they're actually pretty tasty. If you're going to catch and keep, it's not bad. They're pretty tasty. They're everywhere. Everywhere has them. You can learn a lot about the ecosystem in the area fishing for them. You learn about. But I've also noticed if I can find the bluegill, eventually I will find the bass because they kind of hang out near each other. Every time I go like just bluegill fishing, I normally catch a bass or two.
I've been thinking about that recently in a couple tournaments. I'll be fishing, and it'll go like I'll have that span where I go 2 hour or 2 hours without a bite, and I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I'll get some tugs from bluegill, like hitting my lure, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna catch a bass soon. Like I just at least want to know fish are there. I just want to have something. I don't care if it's bluegill biting at my big bass lure, but just let me know some fish are around. That just gives me more confidence too. Just like know something's there, rather than casting. You don't know if there's anything there. Right. Especially when I'm bank fishing, or like got my kayak and I'm just going down a bank just trying to see what I can catch.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got about 5 more minutes in this, John, and then we can end this broadcast. Any questions you wanted to ask me off the stream, I'll be around for a little bit. I thank everybody who came in tonight. Really appreciate all the great questions, all the response we had. I had a pretty good crowd tonight for my little rinky-dink podunk channel, and I'm sure all of you came here to see John and not my ugly mug. I mean, John is definitely the resident expert among the two of us. Anything you want to let anybody know what you got coming up? Or I'll put a link in the description box to all of John's content if you haven't subscribed to his channel. I'm sure all of you have. But if you haven't subscribed with the subscribers he's got, I'm sure all of you have. But if you haven't subscribed to his channel, I'll put a link in the description box. And you know what? Actually, I can put a link in the comment box right now for the people who are in here still. Creek Fishing Adventures. I did a creek. My last video was a creek fishing video. And for the first 72 hours, you were the only one that beat me in SEO. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to change my channel name.
Where do you see that at?
Creek fish. That was last week, Sunday.
Uh,
I go incognito and then I'll search terms like creek fishing.
okay.
Search creek fishing, and I showed up fourth. You showed up 1, 2, and 3. But I'm small, so my YouTube only promotes my video. The first 72 hours is when you get the most promotion from videos when you release one.
Yeah.
And that's when you have the opportunity to garner the most traffic. If you don't garner a lot of traffic after 72 hours, you fall further and further down. All right,
And that's another thing about, that's what I always say about putting out as many videos as possible, because every new video is a chance to reach a new customer or a new viewer, however you call it. But like, if you're not putting out new stuff, it's hard to reach new people because you don't have new stuff being out there being promoted.
There is John's link, Creek Fishing Adventures, in the chat. If any of you haven't already subscribed to his channel, go subscribe and watch a video. You might learn something. You might enjoy something, because subscribing does nothing if you don't watch the videos. So appreciate everybody that watches the videos. Appreciate everybody that came in tonight. Henry says it was great. Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks. Look forward to hosting you next weekend. We'll see what we can learn. We can bounce ideas off each other. So it's always learn from others. I've learned a lot from John tonight. Maybe you can learn something from me next week. Possibly I could learn something from you. I mean, you've had quicker success than I did to 100. Well, we'll wrap things up tonight, John. Got anything you want to say or say goodnight to anybody?
No, I appreciate everybody joining in, and I love hearing the comments and stuff, and it's fun to get to talk to other creators and people that are out there putting the work in. And I know it's work just to do. You do this every Thursday, right? How long have you been doing it?
Well, actually, I did it for a while in like 2018, 2019, this kind of thing, and then life happened for a little bit, and I couldn't do it. I brought it back during the pandemic. I brought it back during the pandemic because it gave us time a way to talk to each other when we couldn't like cross state lines and stuff here.
Yeah.
So I brought it back during the pandemic and did it, and then tried different nights, and then Thursdays the night that I had available, and then started at 7 and then moved it to 8 because I'm in the Eastern time zone, so a lot of my crowds in Central and then some in Mountain and Pacific, so it gave people more time to get in. Yeah, I do it every Thursday night, and you're more than welcome back anytime, man. You've been a great guest.
I definitely appreciate it. That's something I want to start doing it, but I don't know if I could make myself do it at the same day every week. So I feel like I'll just get
you know what, man?
Skip it.
You're big enough that you don't have to commit to it, but if you just want to do it every now and then,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it ain't like it's gonna hurt you, or it ain't like you need the watch time or the subscribers. But
I think it's cool. Definitely
appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me on. This is great.
Maybe if you do start doing it, maybe one day I'll be big enough you'll have me on. To me, it doesn't matter the size. It's just talking to people and talking about fishing. You're like, I learned a lot and just enjoyed fishing a totally different area, and and everybody's got their own views on things. So that's really fun just hearing from people. Just because I have a bigger channel, it doesn't mean I'm doing things the right way. So that's why I like hearing what other people are doing, how they're doing stuff. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and you are more than welcome. If you do make that Susquehanna trip, man, I'll give you all my contact information. We can do it together.
Yeah, I definitely need to work on that. Hopefully I can do something like that soon. So, I don't know, maybe next spring, but I need to do it. That's something I have to do before I just keep putting it off. But I've been trying to get somewhere new every year. This year was Michigan. That was my big thing this year. So I got up there, never fished up there. There's so many more places I still want to go. I'm trying to get a Louisiana trip in before next 2 months, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I've never fished in Louisiana. There's a little spot I want to go, but it's like 12 hours away. I don't know. We'll try to work it out.
All right. Thanks for coming, John. Everybody in the
All
chat tonight, thanks for coming. Really appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week with Henry Mosley. Good night.